Well, I wanted to go into a thing at the beginning of this about how, like, this is the end of an era. This is the final Madea movie. After 14 years, this is the last one, the last we will see of Madea on the big screen again, of Tyler Perry's Madea. This ain't the last one. Yeah, I get right. And we can't even pour one out, really, because
I wouldn't pour one out to this fucking. Oh my god!
Oh, you didn't want to drink during this movie?
I wanted to drink during this movie, but not in a celebratory way.
The audience did.
Oh my god!
This ain't the last one, man.
No, because it's gonna make money, and he's gonna be like, "Well, I can't be poor."
I was told that Madea dies at the end of this movie, and if anyone goes to see this movie thinking that that's what's going to happen in this movie, because everything that's been written about it beforehand says that that is absolutely the case of what's gonna happen in this movie, unless it's a post-credit scene or something that happens in the middle of what was probably going to be 20 minutes worth of bloopers during the ending credits. That doesn't happen in this movie. Anyway, to get some house cleaning out of the way first, come see us at Wizard World Cleveland, coming up March 8th through the 10th. So you can see me, Laura, and Ryan there all weekend long. Go to wizardworld.com for tickets and use our promo code CINEMA20. Anyway, Madea Family Funeral. See, you haven't seen one of these in a while.
Not since, like, the year where Brian and I saw, like, 4 of them in a fucking summer.
So you haven't seen one since Madea Christmas.
Right, because there's been 2 Halloween ones since then. And
yeah, and then other, like, non-Madea movies that he's done.
Right.
Well, I mean, Tyler, I guess if we're talking straight up Tyler Perry movies, you and I were at Nobody's Fool.
Right.
But of the Madea movies, yeah, Madea Christmas. So really what you need to know about this one is less that it's the conclusion of this 14-year saga of Madea movies. No, what we just sat through is Madea Halloween 3. When you see Madea Halloween 1 and 2 before this one, it makes sense that this is the direction that the series has taken. This isn't even the first Madea movie that I've watched today. Earlier I wrote a snob on Diary of a Mad Black Woman, and going from Diary of a Mad Black Woman to this, you see a steep decline. This Diary of a Mad Black Woman is like The Color Purple compared to this film.
It just like, I want to throw this out there. I wake up to go to work at 5 o'clock every morning.
Yeah.
I've worked a 60-hour week.
Yeah.
In what has been, without question, the most professionally stressful week of my life.
Mm-hmm.
This last hour and 40-something minutes, hands down the worst part of my life. Hands down.
Yeah.
Like, I have never been so tired and angry at the same time. Like, Like, part of me feels that rage that I would feel at some of these bad movies a couple years ago, where I would scream and yell and say horrible things. I'm just so fucking tired.
Well, there were some laughs to be had out of this because the audience was... It was the Rocky Horror Picture Show in there.
No shit. No shit.
Like, they were, like, falling over the seats in front. It was a weird mixture of some reactions, too, because they were, like, laughing so hard that they're practically falling over the seats in front of them. Meanwhile, there was like an 8-year-old kid asleep next to me on the other side.
Like, and how? How could they have slept through? Because if this movie was nothing else, it was fucking loud.
No, and that's like a projector thing too. Like, it was turned up, like even the trailers, it was turned up really, really loud. And there was even, I could tell this from if I didn't notice this in the trailers, I would have thought it was part of the movie. But it was slightly blurrier than like it probably should have been. But the level of filmmaking is so bad here that had
You
I
wouldn't
not
know.
known,
You wouldn't have noticed.
yeah, I would have just thought it was really part of the movie. Because when you look at, and I know that the Diary of a Mad Black Woman was directed by somebody else, but even some of the other Tyler Perry movies that he did direct, going from like the filmmaking of that one to this looks like this is directed like it's a porno spoof of a Madea movie.
No, a Madea Christmas was the same way, where it was so poorly made that I just sat there the entire time going, what was his budget? $4
And I've seen Madea Christmas, and even that, even that's way more competently made than this film is. It doesn't help either that a lot of the actors in this movie are built like a porn star.
No shit. And listen, I don't want to cast aspersions, but and I don't know much about the man personally, but if Tyler Perry's not a gay man, I don't really understand why there were so many unnecessary shots of shirtless men.
Because he does know his audience and he knows his demographic.
Okay.
He does do that, but I mean but the way this movie looks though and feels, it is like an early 90s Cinemax movie. And not like one of the steamy Shannon Tweed movies, because that's Tyler Perry's Temptation. No. This is more like it looks like it's in the same universe as Bikini Summer 2. Like it's shot exactly the same. And apparently this movie only this movie only took a few days to shoot and was shot.
You could tell.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Because it was apparently all shot before Madea Halloween 2 even came out. Like it was shot like a year ago, and it was supposed to come out I think like August of last year or something, and finally came out now. We got like a half an hour into this movie not knowing what this thing was about.
No clue. No clue. There's so many characters, and somehow they're all related, and that's obvious, but how they're related, like, it was a puzzle I was piecing together through the entire movie. Like, okay, this one's married to this one, and these two are related this way. These two appear to be, by all logical standards, appear to be like mother and father, but they don't, like, they interact like strangers. So,
I've given up trying to piece together this family tree.
And fucking past that, this was one of the most bipolar fucking movies I've seen in my entire life. Because it didn't know if it wanted to be a Tyler Perry drama or a Madea movie.
That's kind of all Madea movies. Except for, like, I would say some of them play up more comedy than drama, a couple of them. But there's ones like, oh my god, like, you should see Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Holy shit. Like, the balance of drama and comedy in that is insane. But done slightly better than this movie was, because you're right. It's the same. In scenes where characters will have this dramatic, tear-filled monologue.
And then it just gets to Madea and she makes a dick joke, and you're like...
There will be like secrets revealed in this family, dramatic, and there's tears, and then Uncle Heathrow or whatever his name is, like, drops a cake on the floor and slams his dick into the wall. Oh yeah. So really, if you break it down, there's like only 20 or 30 minutes of plot in this movie, and the rest of it, the hour and 40 minutes of it, is just really long shtick. Because if you break it down, there's really maybe only like 5 scenes in this movie.
No, yeah, and the rest of it is literally like Tyler Perry jerking himself off, playing 4 fucking characters, like four fucking characters, one of which being essentially Tyler Perry, but for some reason this is a guy who I've seen in other movies where, like, oh, he's not a terrible actor, you think, every once in a while, but he writes himself a straight man part.
Yeah.
And can't pull it off.
Yeah, and it's weird because, like, that character is in quite a few of them. The
Right.
Brian character that he plays. And it is so weird going from Diary of a Mad Black Woman, where that character has really dramatic scenes where his wife is a drug addict and has to go to rehab. And then in this, where and kind of in the Halloween ones too, in this, he's just reduced to the characters, 'cause you can tell this was made the same time as the Halloween movies, because Madea has the same sidekicks in this, Aunt Bam and Hattie, same sidekicks from the other two movies, and I think we're maybe in one or two of the others as well. But like, so they'll be going on, and they're 20 minutes worth of shtick where it's his Uncle Joe sitting there talking about he used to be a pimp and he likes hoes and smoking weed. They'll be going like Aunt Bam will be sitting there like, I've got a fur coat, I'm wearing fur, and he's like, damn, I want to throw paint on that fur coat. Joe will say that, and Brian is just reduced to stepping in every now and then going, all right, okay, all right, all right.
Dad, you're being offensive.
All right. Like someone will say something raunchy at the funeral, like, okay, all right.
And this movie also goes on weird fucking tangents where it's just like, oh, you're gonna throw in a political thing here where you have a fucking like cop pull you over.
Yeah, there's like a 20-minute scene dedicated to police brutality.
Right. And since I went in this pretty much blank, just knowing it was a Madea family funeral, I expected that to be the reason for the funeral.
Like it's Tyler Perry's The Hate You Give.
Right. Like I expected that. So like the cop just pulls out a gun, shoots Brian, and the four fucking old people are just splattered with fucking blood. That's what I expected. Because it seemed to be building to that, and then suddenly it just cuts, and then then the scene's just over.
There is no beginning or ending of how this scene is put into the movie.
No, it just starts and then it ends, and it's like, I think he was trying to get a message in there with comedy, but at the same time, there was no message. It was just like...
It is the most over-the-top cop in this scene, who is just, he is like literally like breathing steam out of his mouth and acting like he's just done a line of coke and the rage virus.
Right. And somehow the best actor in the movie.
No, he was great.
Hands down the best actor in the movie.
And so there's like, he's trying to make this statement in this scene while Joe's sitting in the back seat, talking about banging someone and tossing weed out the window and shit. And dude, and like for the first 20-30 minutes of this movie, I'm like, are they going to a funeral? Is that why this family is getting together at the beginning of this? Or is this just a family gathering? I'm sitting there like, did someone die? Who died?
What is happening?
But then 30 minutes in, then, okay, like what happens is a guy we've just met,
we've seen for 30 seconds on screen,
is in a hotel room with his leather-bound mistress and dies during this S&M session where Madea and Hattie and all them walk in on it, and Hattie gives him mouth to mouth in that she blows the dead body. And okay, so that's the funeral, and that's next door to another relative who is also having an affair, because all Tyler Perry movies have messages in them, and this one's about cheating.
Yeah.
So there's all of these soap opera drama affairs going on in the movie where the mistress is at the funeral for whatever reason, keeps going to the family gatherings, and then the dad who died, his son, is having an affair with his brother's fiance, and he's pissed at the mistress who showed up. They're both kind of blackmailing each other in that, hey, if I'm telling, you're gonna tell. And the son who's having the affair is just the biggest piece of shit in the world. Like that kind of Tyler Perry character, where an evil character in a Tyler Perry movie, because there's nothing redeeming about them ever.
No, and I just have to throw out a note about that character. like a lot of Tyler Perry movies, this is a group of African Americans that obviously have fucking money.
Yeah.
Obviously. Like upper middle class, if not fucking higher. But this one guy was so fucking ghetto, unnecessarily. It's like, motherfucker, you grew up in that house with that fucking car and you're married to a woman with money. You're Carlton. Fucking stop this shit.
I don't, again, like I said, I've given up on really the family tree in a lot of these films. Like,
I really think I figured it out, but it took me the entire movie to figure it out.
well, like, it really is like, it is shot like a soap opera, a lot of it, with similar kind of stingers, similar angles every now and then. And this guy, I guess, villain in the movie, the son who's sleeping with his brother's fiance, he, all of his lines always end with, they're always him yelling at his wife, or him yelling at somebody in the family, him yelling at the woman he's sleeping with, and them saying like, hey, you know, you're being an ass, and then him going, but my daddy just died.
It's
several
like,
times.
But he was also daddy of these like 3 other characters you just yelled at, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like,
and there's a new character in this too. Tyler Perry, he's testing out new material in this film. So it's Uncle Heathrow, I believe is the name, which is just the Uncle Joe character again. Same kind of lines, like him talking about pimping and banging hoes and things like that. Only in this case,
he's a double amputee with a fucking voice box.
yeah, so all of his lines are like this: hey baby, I want to tap that ass. It's the same character as Uncle Joe, only he's sitting in the most obvious wheelchair where it's just Tyler Perry's legs tucked behind it. That's it. Like, you have to oh man, is this movie, like, I mean, you see from Madea Halloween to Madea Halloween 2 to this, you see how it's gotten to this point, because even by the time it got to Madea Halloween 2, there was really barely a story there, and it was mostly these 20-minute extended sequences of the characters just riffing off of each other.
Yeah.
And it's that, again, in this, just even more of it than Madea Halloween 2, which is hard to believe because that movie was also a lot of this stuff. It felt like a long movie to sit through because it's so much padding.
Like, not the worst thing I've seen in the last 12 months, not the worst Tyler Perry movie I've seen, but man, it was a hard fucking sit.
It was a rough sit, and they do things in the movie.
Like, if there hadn't been other audience members in that theater, I'd have been fucking miserable.
I was just... They do things in the movie that even make it feel longer. Because the funeral scene itself is all about how the funeral's really long. And it's showing a clock on the wall just ticking 12 hours ahead that it takes to do this funeral. They're making constant jokes about it feeling really long and dragging out forever. And this is in a movie that is doing that. Yeah. And it makes it feel so much longer. And with the tone in the movie being all over the place, you got, again, these scenes of drama with his asshole yelling at his wife and yelling at his family members. Meanwhile, put right in between that is Madea having trouble closing the casket when they're viewing the body because the body still has an erection. And they can't get the casket closed because, like, oh shit, he was really happy when he died and he's got a smile on his face like he's Bernie. And just closing the casket to try to get the erection down, and then cut to more drama, like tears and cheating and shit.
It's just honestly baffling. Just baffling.
I loved seeing the actors, like, the moments where they actually are giving like a genuinely good performance. Right. Like the mom who's lost her husband and she didn't like her husband, so she wants to bury him really quickly because he was cheating on her and had been cheating on her for years. And she has this monologue about how she stayed with him all those years because at the time that was just kind of the only option someone like her had, not having really any work experience or
Yeah.
huge education, really. And she has this tear-filled monologue about this, while it's cutting to like Hattie sitting there like, ooh, and cutting over to Brian like just going, yep. This woman's acting her ass off.
Right. For this, like,
But you know what? I mean, the audience had a really good time.
oh, they certainly. I mean, someone has to. I mean, they listen. He says it's gonna be the last one. We know in like 3. Give him a couple years. He's gonna take a
Yeah.
break. Like,
Unless he does one where he actually does kill Madea off. Because again, I apologize if like, I don't know, after the credits a safe falls on her.
oh god.
I'll be so mad if I missed that. Yeah, you know what? The audience that we saw it with this time seemed to have a much better time than the audience from the screening beforehand. Because like, this was right before you showed up, and the audience for the screening before started walking out. It was pretty crowded in there too, it looked like. But this guy walks out and just like, well, that shit was boring. just kept walking. Like, oh no, oh man.
Like, it's a lot of things, but you know, the one thing I gotta give Tyler Perry, none
not
of his
boring.
movies are ever boring.
They might feel
Ever.
long. They might feel long,
Yeah.
and you might be feeling that runtime. But it's gonna it's gonna throw in this wild mix of drama and comedy
Yeah.
that's stunning in how sometimes it doesn't go together. Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, sorry I keep yawning, guys. Like, I've literally been up for
You've
way
been
too
up for a
long.
while.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
What time did you get up this morning? 5 or so?
A few minutes before 5, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I get dressed, drive to work for 2 hours, then work, then drive home.
Yeah.
My schedule kind of sucks right now, man.
And then Madea.
Yeah.
And then
and then
to
into
top
fucking,
it off, Madea and a funeral.
oh my god.
Man, look, I mean, we're not going to be able to talk about this as long as, like, Brian and I reviewing Madea Halloween, and we talked 90 minutes about it.
Listen, the fact of the matter is, no review ever goes as long as if Brian Lewis was in the fucking car.
Yeah.
Brian Lewis reviews are long goddamn reviews.
Because we go into the entirety of that shit. With this,
Yeah.
we've talked for 23 minutes. We have honestly
We've exhausted it.
We've
Yeah.
honestly gone through everything that
Yeah.
happens in this movie. Significantly less happens in this than in the Halloween movies.
Nothing really happens in this movie.
You looked at me like halfway into the movie and were like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the plot of this movie is.
I didn't. It wasn't apparent yet. The plot of this movie isn't apparent for at least a half hour.
Yeah.
Like, storytelling 101. Like,
Yeah.
give us a taste. Like,
It's hard because going into a movie like this with a lot of these characters that haven't been established in other movies, it feels like going into season 6 of a sitcom when the previous 5 seasons didn't exist.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, like,
it'll probably do really well.
for its budget, yeah, it'll do great.
Yeah.
I just fucking...
It's so bizarre seeing a movie like this, the way it's shot, the way it looks, that it just has this Skinamax porn soap opera quality to it.
It is very soap opera. Like, I think it has a lot to do with the lighting. Like, everything
Yeah.
is so bright.
It looks like, yeah, it brightly lit like a sitcom.
Yeah.
And it was so weird that we saw it on like the bigger screen.
Oh man, it was the biggest theater in our local theater. Like, it
Yeah.
was huge, and it's just like, and so loud. It was.
Yeah. They put this shit on a bigger screen than they put Schindler's List. Like, why? That's ridiculous.
Because of what's playing this week is gonna make the most money.
No, yeah. I mean, true. Yeah. It wasn't like we were the only ones in there.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, any final thoughts about this movie, man? This ain't the last one.
No.
I wish I could sit here and wax nostalgic about like, oh man, it's all come to an end. Here's my thoughts about all the Madea movies now that it's over. But I can't do that. I don't believe that this is the end.
No, because there'll be another one, and let's face it, in like 6 months we'll be bored, and Brad will need a few extra bucks, and we'll do a fucking Tyler Perry retrospective show or something. Who knows?
Oh, I'm already starting that stuff on the Cinema Snob.
Fuck it. We'll do it like the Bruno Mattei show, but instead of
With
suits
Tyler
at the
Perry.
bar, we'll wear big fucking wigs and dresses.
Yeah.
We'll get Lewis.
Still just walk into the bar.
We'll convince Lewis to come down as fat grandma and do the show with us.
Yeah. Well, that's Madea Family Funeral. Hey, Dad, I had to check out our reviews for Greta and Climax. Won't get near the attention that this review will.
Yeah.
But those were good. Those were fun movies. So, okay. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. And follow us on Twitter at the Cinema Snob. Subscribe to us, too. YouTube.com/Stone Grumbling Productions. Click the little Lloyd icon down there. And
feel free to write very graphic fan fiction. We always enjoy it.
yeah.
I mean,
always.
fuck it, guys. We've been doing this a long time. Let's just start getting weird with it. That's where I'm at now.
Oh, well, there's been erotic fan fiction of us for a long time.
I know. My favorite one was the one I read where, there's when I had just first started doing things on the site, and so it was like 100 pages long on the internet, and it was filthy. And at the end, for some reason, I just show up and give you a ride.
Those are my favorites.
It's just like
that. Yeah.
that's they're like, oh, we forgot, we got to put Dave in here. Oh,
And then
Brad's
he gives
walking.
him a ride.
Brad's walking out of an alley, and Dave pulls up a car and gives him a ride. Like,
take me
what?
home and ask me no questions.
Pretty much.
Yeah, there's one where I get my dick stuck in a Crystal Pepsi bottle and I need Dr. Insano to get it off. Only science can get this out of here. Science created Crystal Pepsi. Clearly, you can get my dick out of this. All right, thanks a bunch in the chat for watching. Take care. See you guys.